Hi everybody. Today we're going to get started on our websites. This is the first of 3 days you'll have in the lab to work on your site. And your goals for today are to get Weebly accounts for everyone, create a website complete with a domain name that's easy for users to find, invite each group member in your group to be editors on the same site, and then start working on the design. So choosing a layout, choosing colors, creating your subtopic pages. So what you'll need to do is gather your group all around one computer and have one person Google Weebly. So that's Weebly. And then that person is going to create an account, a free account. I already have an account, so I'm just going to log in. And you'll need to create a site. So you're just going to click on that plus button there and add site. The focus of your site is a site, not a blog or a store. The first thing it's going to ask you to do is to choose a theme. You can easily change this at any point in the process. So take some time with your group members to pick one, knowing that you can change it. And keep in mind that you're not choosing a layout that you like, but a layout that your audience likes. So think about what we talked about in class. In particular, the idea of balance. Do you have an audience that would like something very formal and symmetrical, with everything centered, maybe like this one? Or do you have an audience that might like things divided up a little bit differently, maybe like this one is slightly more dynamic? So go ahead and choose a layout. And the next thing you do is pretty important, so take a moment to really pause and think about this. You're going to use a subdomain of Weebly.com, so these other options would require you to pay, so we're going to use Weebly.com. And you need to come up with a domain name to name your website so that I can find it and your group members can find it when we peer edit. So you want to come up with a word or a couple of words that are simple, that are memorable, that are spelled correctly, and that appeal to your audience. So think about what audience you're trying to reach. Think about your city name. The easiest idea would just be to name it after your city, but those are probably all taken. So Wisconsin Rapids is taken. So I have to come up with something simpler than that. So, let's say I was trying to reach an audience of people with physical disabilities. They're probably most concerned with making sure they're in a place where everything's accessible. So maybe I'm going to call it Access Rapids. And that looks like it's available. Again, make sure you spell it correctly and make sure it's memorable, simple, and appeals to your audience. So then I'm going to click continue, and the next thing you need to do is invite your group members to become editors of this site, and that way you all can work on the same website at the same time, whether you're in class together or you're at home. Can't work on the same page on your site, but it'll indicate that if someone else is working on your page, and you'll just choose a different one to work on. So in order to invite your group members to be editors, the person who made the account is going to click on Settings and go to Editors, and then go to Add Editor. And then all you need to do is type in the email addresses of your group members. So you can actually have them type them in. And then there's a green Save Editor button at the very bottom that you'll click on down here. And then it will send them an email. What they'll need to do then is to log into their email, and they should get a link that says they've been invited to edit a site, and they can click on that link, and then it will ask them to create a Weebly account. Now, if any of your group members have already created an account over the weekend, you'll want to use the email address that they created the account with, so that then the site will show up in their account. You also should think about your absentee group members. You should invite them to be editors as well. And you can figure out their email addresses by logging into your Midstate email and clicking on New to send a new email, and then typing in their name. And then if you just hover over their picture or the little image, click on the little image next to their name, the little colored icon, and it will tell you what their email address is. And usually it's their first name, I think, dot last name, and then the last 4 digits of their ID number. So you should, definitely try to invite them to be editors as well. So once you've done that, it usually just takes a couple minutes. They can log into their email and become editors on the site. There are a couple things you'll need to know across the top of the page here. So probably the most important one is pages. So when you click on that, it shows you, according to the template that you chose, how many pages it has and what they're called. But you can add more pages pretty easily just by clicking here. Usually you're just going to want to choose standard page, and then you can give it a name. And you have a couple of other options too. You can choose the layout down here. So again, think about what might appeal to your audience. Something very symmetrical, something slightly more dynamic. And again, you can change this throughout the process. And each one of these different types of pages has some different types of layouts. So if you're going to have a lot of text or a lot of pictures, you may want to look through all those different choices. So here's a layout that's just pictures, and that might be okay if you have some extra pages on your website. So you can pick one of those layouts. The other option is to create your own layout by dragging elements. But I think that gets a little bit confusing, so I would just choose one of the layouts that they offer. If you want to switch to another page and start editing another page, just click Pages again at the top. Save that. And then if I want to switch from the climate and weather page to the About page, I can just click on About. So now I'm working on the About page. If I want to switch again, I'm just going to click Pages at the top. And then switch to the Contact page. Okay, what else do we need to know today? We invited group members. Now I think you can just start working on your pages. Oh, one more thing. At the top here, under Build, is where you can drag and drop elements. So you can drag little boxes for titles. If you want to put headings, and then you can type a heading inside that box. Maybe you want to put in an image, so you can drag on an image. Maybe you want some text next to the image, so you can drag that in there. Let's try it over here. There we go. So now I have my image and my text. But again, I think choosing one of their layouts might be a little bit easier. This can get a little bit confusing, and sometimes the spacing is hard to work out. Okay, I think that's it. What I'd like each group to do, though, is to have one person send me an email that has your domain name in it. So your domain name should be www. Whatever words you chose. I chose accessrapids.weebly.com. So my domain name would be www.accessrapids.weebly.com. Send me an email with that in it so I can just take a look at what you've started. And then also let me know who was present in your group. And just give me a little progress report on what you accomplished today. And then I will see you in class tomorrow.